Hi guys, how are you doing? I'm drinking my water. Who's drinking water? I've had a really productive day. I was outdoors today, enjoying the beautiful weather. I didn't make my bed, so excuse that mess back there. My cat decided she usually comes in late at night or early in the morning, and it's really cold everywhere else. So I'm just going to blame it on my cat. But she was on the bed earlier and she was sleeping till about 3 o'clock. I was outside working, um, doing some yard work, relaxing this weekend because I feel that it's relaxing to be outdoors and being out in nature. And I've said this a million times, that we can connect with our spiritual team or just feel um, feel the difference in the seasons. A lot of you are in places where you have the changes of the seasons, so the leaves are different colors, or you can just feel it. Maybe it's snowing where you are right now. Let me know. I definitely do not envy you if you're in the middle of a snowstorm. It's definitely cold here in Florida, which means that if you're north of Florida, you're definitely feeling it. So just take a look at the map. You don't even have to do that, because I know, and I commend you. I was online earlier looking for sweaters, and I'm in Florida, so I definitely know that you guys, if you're not in Florida, you're definitely feeling the weather. And I enjoy it. I love that time of the year when I could go outside. I'm outside most of the year anyway. In summertime, I love the heat. I'm grateful for any type of weather as long as there's no crazy hurricane. Even though I enjoy a good hurricane, it is a little nerve-wracking to go and be there. Wish we had mountains here in Florida. We do not. Some of you are in the mountains, or you're able to go hiking in the mountains, and I think that's fantastic. I've been up to the Alabama mountains. It was Gunterville, so if there's anybody from Gunterville, let me know if you've been up there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've been to the is it Tennessee or Georgia, South Carolina border. Um, it was what river was it called? The Chattooga River. So if you're familiar with the Chattooga, there's, I believe it's class 5, or is it class 7? Or is it class 5? I think that's the highest rapids level, the level of rapids that are available there. I know that there's a place called Decapitation Rock, and it was back in college when I went there. That was in my braver days where I would actually go on that river. But if you're familiar with Chattooga River and Decapitation Rock and Five Falls, if you've ever been in that area, I definitely recommend doing it. I didn't go whitewater rafting. I actually went down the river with in a funyak, which is a kayak, like a blow-up kayak. Fortunately, at that time, my ex-boyfriend, and his friends, who are still my friends, but took us down this river, and it was a long river, and there were points that were pretty dangerous, where I would not go. We would actually take out the kayak or the funyak and go hiking, while the guys would do the rest of the river, because they were pretty experienced kayakers or whitewater kayakers. And again, back when I was into my thrills, and I like a good roller coaster, but that's, you know, probably the extent. No, I can't say that. I would probably do some things if I traveled more and was in the situation. It just all depends on my mood and how brave I was feeling that day. So a lot of you are, I'm feeling, adventure seekers. Maybe you're a traveler. And I think these are the wonderful, amazing opportunities that we have living on this planet, to be able to see the beautiful things that are here for us to enjoy. I used to go hiking up in the canyons when I was in California. I enjoyed going out to, and I know I have viewers out there in Los Angeles and Southern California area. I know that you guys have the Strand over there. I had a short stint. I was living in California, in Los Angeles, that area, Ventura County, from 2005 to 2012. So almost 10 years, but I moved back to Florida. I'm originally from Florida, hence Florida native, but I've been going to California for the last 40 years of my life. So I'm pretty familiar with Southern California. I've been to Northern California. I've been to all over California. So I do appreciate the different opportunities you have in nature. You guys have Mammoth, I believe, and Big Bear if you want to go. That was the first time I've ever had a chance to go snowboarding, and I fell in love with it. I'm not great at it, but I enjoyed going snowboarding. And if you're out, I think it's now is the best time to be in Mammoth. I really appreciate that time learning how to snowboard and being out in the snow and just the different climates. I just heard that they had a 7 an earthquake up in Northern California. I just read it online, so hopefully people are okay. I don't usually read a lot of news or listen to the news. I'm drinking my water actually. Sorry, I just bumped it. But I do miss that. I miss that part of being outdoors, and I think I was more outdoors and it when I lived in California, when I lived in Southern California, because there was so much to do, like biking the Strand. I'd go from Malibu all the way down to Redondo Beach, which is called Rat Beach, and back, going through Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach and Playa del Rey, all the way up to Venice Beach. And where else? Oh, Santa Monica, of course, Santa Monica Pier, and all the way up to Malibu. So I do miss that. I miss Point Dume. I, had met some really cool people out in California, so I definitely don't knock it. I love nature, and in that environment, if you're not from Southern California, or if you've never been there before, it's a place where you could, within a few hours drive, you could be in the desert, you could be at the beach, you could be in the mountains, you can be, mountains and snow, you could be, you could be in wine country, you could take the train all the way up the coast, you could go hiking in the canyons and the mountains. There's so many places to hike. We don't have mountains in Florida. We actually we're at sea level, and we might have some hills like throughout, like the southern, like closer to the Orlando area where they used to have orange groves when we first moved here. So if you get a chance to come to Florida, what California didn't have in the area that I was in was freshwater springs, and we here have freshwater springs, and I'm so grateful. I think it's a very spiritual place to go, as are all the natural resources that we have throughout the world. When I went to other countries, and I could appreciate different aspects of different areas, and I'm hoping that you guys are having that opportunity, or if you have that opportunity, to really take that opportunity to travel, meet people in other countries, learn about their culture, talk with the locals, see how maybe even how they live over there, how their government is run, without going into politics or anything like that, but just to see how um, how their systems are set up, how healthcare is, how expensive healthcare is, or how accessible it is for their general population if they're able to own property, or whether they are or not. When I was in Asia and I was traveling in Singapore and Malaysia, the Philippines, Brunei, Vietnam, went to several countries and got to speak with the locals there and how they live, and just the different aspects of their culture and how people lived every day, and what they had access to. It rather surprised me. Yeah, it surprised me. There were so many different things that I didn't know, and that was from talking to locals. And we could do it here in the States. So if you guys have any questions for me, definitely feel free to leave that in the comments section below, and I will try to answer your questions to the best of my ability. But a lot of people kind of down Florida and the people that are here, and cultural things, and just the South in general. But I promise you, it's not that bad. In general, overall, people are very friendly. They will say hi to you. They will let you in, if you're trying to get in on the road or on the freeway or interstate, or if you're trying to make a turn. People in general, will let you in. Or I know, of course, there's a lot of people that would beg to differ, and that's okay. So maybe you've had a bad experience here in Florida, and really, you could have a bad experience in any part of the country. But I think overall, everyone is pretty friendly in general, overall. We'll talk to you, we'll say hi. Usually we'll look you in the eye. And of course, that's a general statement. Not everyone is from here, and not everyone is the same, and not everyone is having a good day. And maybe not everyone will take the time. But I think my point is, you will find good people wherever you go if you're putting out good energy, and you're being kind, and you're being mindful, and you're doing things with good intentions. And that's why it's so important, to try to do that. Try to put out good energy. They say, when you get what you put out, so sometimes you get what you put out, and sometimes you forget about that particular day where you didn't put out very good thoughts, or very good words, or very good actions. And then perhaps another day you don't have such a good day. And those that believe in karma, if you're from that school of believing in karma, then everything balances out. And I know that myself, I'm not perfect, and I also have emotions. We are human. We're going to get irritated. We're going to get frustrated. We're going to get uh, angry, even, or frustrated. All these different emotions that we go through, especially when we're dealing with others or other people on the phone, in person, on email. Um, and there's a lot of things I regret too sometimes when I say things out of irritation or impatience. And that's an opportunity for me to reflect on myself. What's going on with me? Why am I getting irritated or impatient with, say, the person on the phone? I was actually speaking to the secretary of my mom's lawyer yesterday, and and I need to apologize to her because it was just frustrating, because I had asked her to email me some important information about, yeah, the week before excuse me, before Thanksgiving. And she actually emailed it, but it was emailed to another address, which wasn't mine. And so, long story short, I hadn't heard from her. I hadn't received the email. So, being that the circumstances it was time sensitive, and we were dealing with a foreclosure and a sale of a property, um, I would expect from a lawyer or law office, your lawyer's office, to follow up and make sure that communication is being followed through, and a confirmation. Okay, so this has happened like yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it was actually yesterday, but you know I had to check myself as far as my attitude and 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 what I was putting out there. You know, she didn't know what was going on. The lawyer wasn't in the office that day. He did eventually call me back. But I'm just talking about the things that we do, all these things that we don't think that matter every day, dealing with people, connecting with people, communicating with people. These are all things that are being seen, all the things, and that's not to say things out of fear and to feel that you're always being watched, but in actuality, God sees everything. God knows your heart. God, you're a creator. Um, the universe knows what you do. That's 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 what it boils down to. And like I said, going back to where you put out what you put out, you get back. So if sometimes you are in the wrong and you know that, take accountability for that and apologize, or clarify. I was not understanding. There was a miscommunication, or I needed this explained to me, or I needed confirmation on communication that was made, for the example I'm talking about. Um, so if I did not express myself or handle that situation the way, or I could have done it better, then I should take accountability for that. And that's part of communication. That's part of like putting that good energy out, because sometimes it can be a miscommunication, and a lot of that frustration, a lot of assumptions, we assume things. Sometimes for some of us, we create this story in our head, and sometimes it's like the worst case scenario story, and when the situation isn't even close it's not even close to what we've created in our minds. So clarifying things and being aware of how we talk to people and how we handle people and how we handle ourselves, really, how we operate before we speak or before we get on that phone to maybe choose someone out and put all your frustration on that person who's just answering the phone, or just she's the gatekeeper, she's the person who directs the calls, or even if it's the person that you need to talk to that can solve the problem. Again, taking that time to evaluate first before you even dial the phone or dial the person up. Take that time to think about, first of all, get your emotions in check. Okay, we really shouldn't be talking to people when we're like angry or irritated or frustrated. So having that ability, or just that awareness, like trying to do better and becoming more aware of where we are emotionally and spiritually before we interact with other people, can really help communication between two people, a group, with others in any form or fashion. And it could also prevent a lot of emotions that would otherwise be hurtful or offensive to others. And like I said, I'm not perfect, and sometimes I get frustrated, especially when you're dealing with those type of situations where you're dealing with contracts, you're dealing with things being in the courts, and it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be a personal matter. It could be a professional matter. Either way, just becoming aware, or just slowing it down and breathing in, use your breath, grounding yourself. That's what I mean by centering yourself, going and coming from your heart center and making decisions from your heart. And before reacting, even pretend it's your best friend you're talking to, or the person that you most admire, or your boss, or a grandparent, or someone that you feel spiritually connected to, emotionally connected to, someone you feel very close to. Think about that person that you're about to talk to being that other person that you care so much about. Would you speak to that person the way you spoke to the person that you love and admire and respect? Sometimes I think that, if we took a step back, I think we'd have less conflict with others, and less miscommunication, and less fighting, and less bad feelings, and less bad energy and frustrations being put out into the world, when we could just stop, take a breath, think about our actions, what we're about to do, what we're about to say, where we are emotionally, and most importantly, if we're coming from our heart center, if we're coming from a good place. Are we being kind? Are we treating people like we would want to be treated? That's the golden rule. So it's just food for thought. hope you guys are doing great. I hope you continue to put a great energy out there and you are on that spiritual path. We're at the end of the year, and hopefully you found value in some of the videos, or maybe all of the videos that I've put out. So I'm just here to share the love and bring you to center and bring you to peace, or show you what I do to calm myself and to really connect with others, and most importantly, how I connect with God. Take care. Love you guys.